Hello, everybody, and welcome to the sixth of our series, Help, I'm Stuck at Home. And on episode 6, we're going to be talking about redefining priorities. So I'm Karen House, and this is Leanne Hunt. And Leanne,
Hi.
today, hi, what can you tell us about perhaps the surprising behaviors that you see people are displaying, just as far as you can tell? What are you seeing?
Mm. Well, of course, at the beginning of the lockdown, we saw a lot of panic buying, which was surprising to me because we were told very clearly by government that the shops would still continue to operate and there wouldn't be any problem accessing food. The food chain would still be working perfectly, which it is. And yet people, they stocked up hugely. And apparently those that are going to the shops, they say there are still big queues. But I think what's happening now is it's people who perhaps can't buy bulk quantities of food, and also people who are for fresh produce. So you can't keep a lettuce for too long. You want to have fresh food.
Yes, Leanne, won't you just
The other
repeat that
thing.
last sentence? We missed it. It
Oh,
broke up. About the fresh food, sorry.
oh yeah, people are wanting to actually buy fresh food. And so if you're
Okay,
wanting to buy fresh lettuce and salad ingredients, you want to get them sort of on a daily or every couple of days.
wonderful.
Um, the other thing that I'm noticing, which amuses me, is that people are spending a lot more time thinking about little things like the food they prepare and how they present it. So, for example, I'm seeing on Facebook some of my friends putting their meals on, because this is now a big event, which you'd perhaps never have posted about before, but now suddenly the
Absolutely.
fact that you've made a lovely, heartwarming stew and you're
Mm,
presenting it, to your family. Um, People are talking a lot more about their animals and noticing their animals, spending, their time with their animals, which is lovely to see as
mm.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh,
Yes.
and then one other thing I should add, which I've picked up from the groups on Facebook that I belong to, there's been a drop in people listening to podcasts because they're not commuting. And apparently,
Oh,
listeners to podcasts do so mostly on their commute.
yes.
And now suddenly the numbers have dropped.
Interesting.
It's likely that'll just adjust because people will start to miss their podcasts.
Mm.
But it was an interesting thing. You don't realize that your change in lifestyle actually does affect your behaviors.
Yes, it does. In fact, yeah, I'm finding personally, in terms of my behavior, I'm just becoming a whole lot more perceptive to others during this time, and especially
Mm.
towards the vulnerable. I'm really,
Oh,
and even though
yes.
I do have work to carry on with, I'm just finding my level of perception of others and what they're going
Mm.
through is particularly high at the moment. It's elevated.
Mm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
have you noticed any strange behavior in yourself, Leanne, during this time?
Well, it's taken me by surprise, the fact that I'm doing much less reading than I thought I would. I'm usually a huge reader and I get through a lot of books,
Yes.
but I think my time on social media has increased because I'm just wanting to keep in touch with what my friends are doing. Um, my time reading books has decreased, but it's also my taste is a little bit, I'm struggling to find out what I feel like reading because of the odd time that we are in.
Yes.
Um, I think I agree with you. I think I'm thinking a lot more of others, and I'm thinking especially of the people I know who are living alone, because I know that the way that they would normally cope is, go out a lot and um, have outdoor activities and they'd meet friends, and they're not doing that. So I'm sort of getting in touch with friends more, which I didn't do before. Um, and then the other thing, I was going to mention something else. I don't know. Um,
Well,
just
perhaps,
this putting
yeah,
together
it'll
this
come
video
back.
is
Yes,
different.
absolutely. That's true. So, and maybe if it comes back to you, just mention it as we go. But I would
Sure.
like to also know what you suggest people do to redefine their priorities at the moment.
Right. Okay. This is where what I was what I was going to say. I
Okay.
found myself thinking about the future, and this is where the priorities subject comes in,
Okay.
because we are in a period of lockdown, 21 days, and as we know, 21 days is the long is how long it takes to build a new habit.
Mm.
And if we are creating habits even unconsciously while we are not out in the world, it's like the time of day that you would rise and the order in which you would sort of start your day.
Right.
Um, we are actually ingraining new behaviors into our lives. But we have to decide at some point when we get back into the world what we're going to keep and what we're going to
Yeah.
discard. Because obviously some things won't be appropriate for when you're back at work, but there'll be some things which you sort of think, well, actually, I like doing this. I like reading in bed for an hour before I go to sleep and not checking all my emails or whatever. Um, and so I think that we need to be very conscious of the new things that we're doing now and to evaluate them. I like the idea of keeping a journal of ideas, things that you can refer back to. And I think also discussing these things with friends, the way that you are changing your behavior, because that makes you conscious of what's different. Um, and to be very aware of your priorities as they are now in this time, because obviously health is probably our highest priority.
Yeah.
We're making sure that we're not infecting ourselves. So I think probably we're going to be much more conscious in future of picking up germs and, you know, keeping sanitized. Other than that, it's going to be the health things like staying hydrated and eating fruit and vegetables and getting enough sleep, which is obviously something we can do now, but hopefully we will continue because sleep is vitally important to our mental health.
Yes.
Yeah, so looking at your priorities now, so my priorities, health is probably right up there near the top, and staying in touch with friends and family is very high on my priority list. And I'm learning how valuable that is to me right now.
Yes.
I'll
Lovely.
definitely be continuing it.
Yeah, huge value from working with family and friends and being able to communicate digitally at this time. And actually,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
that leads on to what I'm seeing in terms of my own priority is how can I help and add value at this time? So my strength is
Yeah.
not really in the front line physically, but my strength is perhaps doing work online where I can add value. And so just like this morning, we were talking about how we can get our audio and video to the best quality to do these
Yes.
productions. And I think the fact that you're in earphones and I'm in earphones, maybe Lee, with your visual impairment, you want to just speak to that quickly, because it helps to
Yeah,
understand how we can get our audio and video best quality.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to get a lovely microphone from my husband for Christmas. So I have a Blue Yeti microphone, which I'm using now to pick up sound, and hopefully it's coming across well. I'm using my built-in microphone, these headphones now, earplugs, I should say, because I don't have anything else. That's the main reason. But also because I use these nearly permanently when I'm on the computer. I use screen reading software because I can't actually see the screen, can't read what's on the screen. And of course, my Apple computer has built-in screen reading facility called VoiceOver. It's enormously helpful. So I mean, it's wonderful to me that as a visually impaired person with, you know, very little sight, I can actually host a podcast, run a video series, communicate, you know, around the world.
Yes,
It's awesome. And
it
I've
is
published books
awesome.
as well. So it's all these things are now accessible to me because of the screen reading software that I have.
An ability to do so much on technology that we maybe previously wouldn't have thought we needed, but now is suddenly becoming even more important.
Oh,
And I was so excited recently
absolutely.
to hear that you could even read PDFs in most cases. So
Yes.
that was huge for me.
Yes.
Lovely,
Yeah.
Lee. Thank you. Just great to talk today and to finish off episode 6, which is day 6 of our lockdown here in South Africa. So we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow on day 7. Have a lovely day. Bye. Bye,
Great.
Lee.
Bye-bye.